Alright, today I want to do a quick video talking about 2 easy ways to get into long-range precision shooting that are extremely cost-effective. So, for the longest time, and probably still to this day, if you think about shooting long-range precision, you think about a completely custom, fully built bolt-action rifle. And there is no 2 ways about it. This is without a doubt the best tool for that job. There is nothing that does long-range precision like a custom bolt-action rifle, but it is not the only way to shoot long-range precision, and it is definitely not the most cost-effective way. So, if you are like millions and millions and millions of other red-blooded Americans, or many other people across this world, you may own an AR-15. And if you own an AR-15, you know one of the awesome things about the AR platform is that by popping out 2 pins and slapping on a different upper, you can be shooting a completely different caliber in a matter of minutes. So, the 2 calibers that we're going to talk about today are the 224 Valkyrie and the 6.5 Grendel. There are a number of other calibers that will fit into a regular AR-15 sized gas gun and can be shot to long range, but those are not the ones we're going to talk about today, because none of them have the mainstream support and the aftermarket support of the 6.5 Grendel and the 224 Valkyrie. So because of that, these are the 2 that we're going to discuss, because these are the 2 that most anybody can go out, find barrels, find parts, find uppers already assembled, find full rifles already assembled, and be shooting long range very quickly, and much more cost effective than, say, a 224 Grendel, a 6mm AR, 22 Nosler, or any of the other calibers that are capable of fitting into a regular AR-15 size platform, but are much more of a custom setup and will cost you quite a bit more to get into. Like I said, and in my personal opinion, the 6.5 Grendel and the 224 Valkyrie are actually not the best calibers to shoot long-range precision with out of a regular AR, but like I said, they are the 2 that have actual mainstream support and have taken off inside the industry. So, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time or for the last little bit, you've seen me shoot a lot of videos shooting the 224 Valkyrie. I'm a big fan of the 224 Valkyrie. There are a lot of really good things about it, and if you have paid attention to it, it's a fairly new cartridge, and it had a rough start. So in the very beginning, when 224 Valkyrie was first introduced, we'll get into a little bit of the backstory here. It had a rough way to go. The bullet that was advertised as the go-to bullet to shoot out of a 224 Valkyrie when it was first introduced was the 90 grain Sierra Match King, and Federal was the one that was producing the ammo, factory ammo, loaded with the 90 grain Sierra Match King. So when it first came out, most everybody was buying the Federal gold medal match 90 grain Sierra Match King ammo and having big problems with it. When it first came out, it was that bullet, this 90 grain SMK, was touted to shoot in a 1-in-7 twist and have no issues, and it was very quickly found out that that was not the case. A lot of it had nothing to do with the twist rate, even though now the 90 grain Sierra and the 95 grain Sierra both call for a 1-in-6.5 twist. Twist rate had not a whole lot to do with it. It was actually the construction of the bullet, where the jackets were too thin on the 90 grain Sierra Match King and were actually coming apart in midair or inside the barrel. So because of that, a lot of people soured on the 224 Valkyrie very quickly. In my personal opinion, the 90 grain Sierra Match King is not the best bullet to shoot out of a 224 Valkyrie. I prefer the 88 grain ELD and even some lighter bullets. You can push an 80 grain ELD or something to that effect at 2,900 feet a second or more, and be very accurate with a very decent ballistic coefficient. So there are a lot of options, and if you are not a hand loader, when it comes to picking one of these two cartridges, if all you're thinking about, if your whole plan is just to shoot long range precision, 224 Valkyrie is probably the way to go. There is a lot more factory match ammo support for the 224 Valkyrie than there is for the 6.5 Grendel. 6.5 Grendel has very few true match offerings, and most of them are much more expensive than the match offerings for the 224 Valkyrie. 6.5 Grendel is an awesome cartridge, but like I said, it is a lot more expensive if you plan to shoot factory ammo. Now, if you are a hand loader, the sky is the limit with 6.5 Grendel. There are so many 6.5 bullets because of the success of the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 260 Remington and all the other 6.5 calibers. The sky is the limit when it comes to bullets for the 6.5. So because of that, 6.5 Grendel, if you are a hand loader, 6.5 Grendel is a hand loader's cartridge in my personal opinion. If you follow my videos at all, you'll know I'm a big proponent of hand loading. I honestly truly believe that if you are not hand loading for a cartridge, you will never be able to get the full potential out of a rifle unless you tune a bullet to that particular platform. So I may be a little biased in that aspect, but I have never been able to get the performance out of any of my gas guns like I would really like to until I hand loaded for them. Now, that being said, 6.5 Grendel, like I said, does not have anywhere near the factory offerings for match ammo. 6.5 Grendel is a much slower cartridge. 6.5 Grendel is the base cartridge, the parent case for the 6.5 Grendel is the 7.62 by 39, which if you guys are familiar with AK-47s, that is the main cartridge shot in an AK-47. So what they've done is they took a 7.62 by 39, necked it down to 6.5, and fit it into a regular AR platform. And that is where the 6.5 Grendel came from. It's a super effective, really fun cartridge to shoot, and like I said, you can really make it shine if you are hand loading for it. The 224 Valkyrie parent case is a 6.8 SPC. So a 6.8 SPC, I'm honestly not 100% on the original purpose of that cartridge or where it actually came from. I do believe it was a military trial. As far as I know, I think there are some units and things and companies in the U.S. military that actually have and shoot some 6.8 SPC for special purposes. 6.8 SPC is kind of a mid-range caliber, and the 224 Valkyrie is a 6.8 SPC necked down to 22 caliber, so it is a larger than your standard 223. So because of that, it has more case capacity, more powder behind it, and you can push a heavier bullet to speeds that you cannot get out of a regular 223. So that is where the 224 Valkyrie gets its lineage. So now, why would you want to own a 224 Valkyrie or a 6.5 Grendel, and which one do you pick for whatever your reason for wanting to shoot long range is? Now, if you're wanting to strictly shoot long range, shoot out as far as you can, and do it very cost effectively, there is no doubt about it that the 224 Valkyrie is the way to go in that aspect. It is a tiny bullet. Like I've said, the 90, the 88, the 90 grain offerings from Sierra and Hornady, both of those are very high ballistic coefficient bullets that can be pushed at over 2,800 feet a second or right around that, and can get out very far. As a matter of fact, if you've been watching for any amount of time, I have a video shooting the 224 Valkyrie out to a mile. So that is a long way for a cartridge out of a regular AR-15. Now, the amount of energy that it retains going out at those distances is not going to be the same as the 6.5 Grendel. The 6.5 Grendel is coming out of the muzzle much slower, and the ballistic coefficient is not as good. Now, the reason that for the longest time I've been shooting a 224 Valkyrie, and the main reason that I got into a 6.5 Grendel was for hunting. Here in Indiana, and this is the same with many other states across the country, if a lot of states that are in America have a restriction of you cannot deer hunt with anything that is 22 caliber and below. So because of that, the 224 Valkyrie is out. Now, like in Kentucky and some other states, you can hunt with a 22 caliber, but in Indiana where I live, if you hunt on private land, which I own some private land, I hunt my own woods, you can hunt with an AR, but it has to be above 22 caliber. So because of that, I wanted to put together a 6.5 Grendel. Not really expecting it to be as much fun as it has been, and be able to get the performance that I've gotten out of it. So I'm shooting a 123 grain Hornady ELD, and that seems to be about the grain weight of the bullets that get the best performance out of the 6.5 Grendel. They are a decent ballistic coefficient, usually in the high 0.48, 0.49s G1, but nowhere near the velocity as a 224 Valkyrie. So you're not going to get, like I said, if you're looking to shoot distance only, the 224 Valkyrie is going to give you that distance. The loads that I shoot out of the 224 Valkyrie stay supersonic out to almost 1,200 yards, whereas my 6.5 Grendel load is dropping subsonic before 1,000 yards. So the amount of distance that I'm going to be able to stretch out of the 6.5 Grendel pales in comparison to the 224 Valkyrie. But the amount of energy that I'm going to be able to deliver at that 700 yards and in is going to be greater out of the 6.5 Grendel. This is a much better hunting caliber for medium to long range. So I would, with neither of these calibers, even if I lived in a state that I was able to deer hunt out with a 22 caliber, I would not take a shot probably beyond 350, 400 yards with either of these calibers. I just don't think the amount of energy that they're going to retain is going to be ethical to put down a deer at those distances. But there is no doubt about it, the 6.5 Grendel is a better option for hunting. And on top of being a great hunting option, it is a lot of fun. I have shot this out to 1,100 yards, had no problem doing it. Now, I will say the amount of drop between these two, the 224 Valkyrie, I don't want to say that it has the same ballistics as a 6.5 Creedmoor, but it has very similar drop characteristics to a 6.5 Creedmoor. So the load that I shoot out of the 224 Valkyrie here, my 88 grain ELD load, has 31 minutes of drop at 1,000 yards. Whereas the load, so compared to a 6.5 Creedmoor, that is very similar with most loads out of a 6.5. So the load that I shoot out of my 6.5 Grendel has over 40 minutes of drop, more like 42 and a half at 1,000 yards. So that is more than your average 308. So those are some of the differences in the distance and the amount of drop between the 6.5 Grendel and the 224 Valkyrie. Like I said, both these are mainstream calibers now. Both of them have plenty of aftermarket support, and there are different reasons why you may pick one over the other. If you are looking to get into hunting, 6.5 Grendel is probably going to be your way to go. If you want to have a rifle that you can hunt with, shoot long range with, and get out to those medium to long ranges, I would pick the 6.5 Grendel. If I was strictly looking to shoot long range and get out to long and even some extended ranges beyond just long range, some of the very beginnings of ELR, the 224 Valkyrie will do that. I have proven that. So this has been the comparison. This is kind of my thoughts between the 224 Valkyrie and the 6.5 Grendel. I hope this helps. If you guys were looking at maybe picking one cartridge or the other, maybe this gives you guys something to think about. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.